After losing a drinking game, I got dared to tell my heart to this girl who weighed 800 pounds and looked like a tank. But by mistake, I sent that message straight to a cold-hearted CEO. Be my girlfriend. I hope you know what's best for you. She was sitting in her office at that moment. She had just seen a message from some annoying idiot calling her a fool. Her cheeks instantly flushed pink. Her heart started pounding. Did he just call me his woman? It was a confession that was both sweet and a little bit bossy. She sat there for a long time. I got stuck. Just before typing one word, I wrote okay, but even after 2 minutes passed, I didn't get any reply from her. She freaked out instantly and started flooding me with childish, tearful messages. Baby, I already said yes. Baby, what are you doing? Why aren't you answering my messages? Baby, did you take a bath? Let me hug you. Whatever you want to do tomorrow, I'll do it with you. But there was no response from my side. She got really stressed out. A few moments hesitating, he gently pressed his lips and typed, "Annoying idiot Jake Thompson, come to my office tomorrow morning." The next morning, I woke up from sleep, holding the phone tightly. I had a headache too. Damn it. How did I even fall asleep last night? Anyway, whatever. I looked at the phone, it was already 7:30. I hadn't even properly gotten dressed. In a rush, I ran towards the office and somehow reached by 7:59. I wasn't late. Just then, my best friend Lil Wolf came up to me. He looked at me with pity. "Jake, the CEO Sophie is asking for you. I told you to come. Let's hurry to the CEO's office. Seems like it's really important." Hearing this, a bunch of questions popped up on my face. The CEO, Sophie, has nothing to do with me. What does she want from me? On my way to Sophie Sullivan's office, I accidentally ran into Secretary Young. Last night, I helped her get married. Lil Wolf finally convinced her. When the secretary saw me, she raised her eyebrows a bit and quietly reminded me, "Jake, be careful. The CEO seems a bit off this morning." Hearing that, I was a bit taken aback. Being weird like that is pretty normal for her. Weird how? Secretary Jong shrugged. How do I put this? She's acting all shy, like some girl. I almost jumped hearing that. That's really unusual. Sophie Sullivan, does she even know how to be shy like a young woman? Then I nodded in agreement to Secretary Jing. I walked straight into Sophie Sullivan's office. The moment I opened the door, my eyes landed on a woman dressed in a white sundress, one hand resting on her cheek. Her cheeks were rosy, and she seemed lost in thought. "CEO Sophie, why did you call me in so early?" Seeing this unfamiliar side of Sophie Sullivan made me a bit uneasy. Scratching my head, I asked awkwardly. Sophie heard me and looked my way. Our eyes met. In the next moment, a faint smile appeared on her face. She blushed. Then, looking shy like a little kid, she lowered her head. "Jake Thompson, do you have anything to say about last night?" The words just stopped there. I froze instantly. Last night, I was drinking. Playing truth or dare. Didn't have anything to do with her. I tried really hard to remember what happened last night, but I still couldn't figure out what went down with CEO Sophie. Actually, Sophie Sullivan kept tossing and turning all night. Slept just 2 hours. She kept worrying that maybe she'd said what was on her mind out loud. Wrong. If I misunderstood and she was actually rejecting me, that'd be really embarrassing for me. Should I explain things to Jake Thompson now? Sophie Sullivan hesitated, lost in thought. Her neck to her cheeks turned pink. Then she slowly moved her lips and murmured, "Jake Thompson, what you admitted last night wasn't something I rejected outright. I think we need to talk face to face." A faint smile played at the corners of her mouth. She gently bit her lower lip and nodded shyly. "All right." Then she took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. I quickly pulled out my phone and opened the Penguin app. My eyes landed on the chat with CEO Sophie. At that moment, I broke out in a cold sweat. My hands were shaking as I clicked on the chat. Damn it. What kind of nonsense is this? I clearly remember losing at Truth or Dare last night and admitting something. Tank Girl had now targeted Sophie Sullivan. She beat me. I immediately shook my head hard and looked at my face. I'll never play this game drunk again. "Jake Thompson, have you calmed down?" Sophie Sullivan finally said. She looked at me a bit annoyed. I scratched my head and stayed quiet for a while. Drunk confessions, wrong messages sent. Still, I beat the ice-cold CEO of Tristation. Just as I was hesitating, a robotic voice came through my ear. "Ding, congratulations. Host, the soulmate binding system has been activated. The chosen soulmate is Sophie Sullivan, beauty score 95 points. Once you bond with Sophie Sullivan as your soulmate, the system officially wakes up and all functions get unlocked. As a reward, you'll get 5 million soft currency and 1,000 points. The 5 million reward only comes if Sophie Sullivan agrees. Do I even need to choose, should I? Am I someone who's easily swayed by money? Am I someone who gets distracted that easily? I had a slight cough and looked Sophie Sullivan straight in the eyes. CEO Sophie, I can only say this in my own words. Whatever I said last night, I said it after thinking it through. It came straight from the depths of my heart. I'm Jake Thompson. I don't say I love you just like that. This isn't about money or some drunk mistake in a message. Why would I send a message to the wrong person? Why would I send it to Sophie Sullivan? I guess you could say it's fate, nature's decree. Got it. Hearing that, Sophie Sullivan's face turned even redder. She shyly lowered her head, clasped her hands tightly, and lightly pressed her lips together. Seeing this, the corners of my mouth twitched up slightly. Walking straight towards Sophie with a mischievous grin, I leaned in and said, "So, what does that make me to you?" This made Sophie's face flush even more. Her small fists clenched tightly. "Jake Thompson, why are you pretending to ask? After all, I'm the CEO of this company," Sophie Sullivan said, composing herself. The corners of her lips twisted slightly. "Turn around." "Yeah, Jake Thompson, why are you pretending to ask?" Then he gently reached out his fair hand and pointed to his heart. "Because I agreed with you, that's why you're naturally here. The person living in my heart, my husband." We, Sophie Sullivan, had just finished speaking when the system's voice echoed in my mind again the next moment. "Ding, congratulations, host. The soulmate binding system is now fully activated. Soulmate Sophie Sullivan, the rewards have been distributed." But I didn't listen to the system at all. My thoughts were still on Sophie Sullivan's husband. They were stuck. Oh God, Sophie Sullivan actually said that. This move won't just avoid losses, it'll bring a huge gain. Sophie Sullivan, right in front of me. Now, like a wolf in sheep's clothing, she was both playful and shy. Her eyes kept drifting toward me every now and then. After some teasing, she suddenly froze. Both her hands trembled nervously. She didn't know where to put them. It was like she was about to collapse into my arms, showing some sweet charm. But just then, someone knocked on the door from the hallway. She was called into a meeting. CEO Sophie thundered. The corporation's CEO, Williams, is arriving in 10 minutes. Do you need to prepare anything? The secretary's voice was heard halfway through. Sophie Sullivan clearly felt a bit irritated but quickly returned to her calm demeanor. All right, I know. I was just sitting at my desk when Madison Wang and Lily Song showed up. Jake, bro, I made this porridge this morning. Have you had breakfast? Jake Thompson, Little Wolf said you guys drank last night. Do you still have a headache? These two are my little fans in the company. They're girls. Usually, I could tease them a bit. But now I'm already with someone. You two go ahead. I've got some work to do. I waved my hand. Both girls walked away, disappointed by the rejection. Just then, my best friend Little Wolf saw this and came over with a smile. Jake, bro, what's going on? A girl brought you porridge all sweetly, and you don't want to eat it? Little Wolf had just gotten a girlfriend, so he was a bit out of it. Hearing that, I could only give a bitter smile. I waved my hand and said, nothing. Just fallen in love. That's it. I don't just want to accept things from other women like that. Little Wolf was taken aback. Love. Oh my God. The CEO Sophie went to the office and became a lover. The answer was crystal clear. Little Wolf took a sip. Jake looked at me with disbelief and said, man, wow, you hit the jackpot. Tell me, which cousin did CEO Sophie introduce you to? Hearing that, question marks popped up on my face. I looked at Little Wolf coolly. Not a cousin at all. Why not Sophie Sullivan? Little Wolf's eyes went wide. He quickly looked around. His voice was shaking. Jake, don't talk so casually. Have you forgotten the oath of the oldly from the tech department? Whoever wins over CEO Sophie will show her the live stream of the electric fan with the headstand. Hearing this, I got worked up. Oh man, that's a thing too. Let it go, poorly. So, I made an excuse. He's just CEO Sophie's cousin. Little Wolf breathed a sigh of relief and even gave me a thumbs up. I just watched helplessly, then turned back to work on the computer. After all, I've lived a life too. Just 20. It took just a minute. I finished typing up the entire design proposal. The rest of the day was just about going through the formalities. Soon enough, it was time to clock out. I had a cup of tea ready. We were told to leave right at 12 o'clock. There were 2 minutes left before noon. That's when William Harris, the head of the tech department, walked into the office. He then turned around and announced, everyone, Get ready to leave. This morning, Thunder Corporation's CEO Sophie and CEO Williams finalized the initial plan for SK's product, which is a premium essence line. It's going to hit the market soon. This is super important. So everyone, hurry up. Each person needs to submit one design. If any design gets chosen as the final plan, we'll give a cash prize of 10,000. That was the end of it. The entire tech team collectively sighed. Even before the work was finished, the demand for design submissions kept coming. This time, not even a lunch break was given. Everyone exchanged bitter smiles. In the end, they skipped lunch, just like William wanted. Right at 12 o'clock, William saw the employees working hard and nodded with satisfaction. He was feeling proud of himself. A figure rushed past quickly. Damn it, time's up. I'm heading home. What else? I'm starving. Let's grab something to eat. Let's grab something to eat. I already finished earlier. Work was done first thing this morning. Obviously, there was no need to do overtime. But to William, it was a completely different story. Everyone else was still at work while I was trying to sneak out. What am I running from? Just stay here. Jack Thompson, don't you have even a little sense of responsibility? Huh? Aren't people seeing you working? How do you even have the guts to go home for lunch? Hearing this, I turned away with a look of contempt. I glared at him. What's wrong with me taking a lunch break? Those people are working overtime without getting paid for it. What does that have to do with me? William froze up. He couldn't say anything. He knew I was right. Still, he didn't want to let me go. This overtime will count in the attendance evaluation. Fine, go ahead and deduct it. This month, I'll just cut your attendance bonus. Saying this, William nodded confidently. She picked it up. Satisfaction was clearly visible in her eyes. But I just gave her a cold glare. Grinding my teeth, I said a couple of words. The fool turned around and walked away. Screw overtime. Just go ahead and deduct my pay. Just try touching Sophie Sullivan. She's my wife. I don't care. She thinks she's everything. After a while, I reached my apartment building. On the way, I stopped at my favorite beef noodle shop, ate my fill, and then went home relaxed. Making good use of my free time, I studied the system. After that, I got ready for the lottery. Used 1,000 system points. Prayed to God and Buddha for a house. Wished for a big villa. Kept praying silently. Ding. 1,000 binding points spent. The host won the lottery. Congratulations to the host. I got a jewelry set from Gulf Century Limited. What a drag. What do I need with this useless stuff? I felt terrible. So, I decided to sell it. Suddenly, I took a deep breath. Remembering Sophie's subtle hints, it clearly felt like I was being forced to give a gift. But yeah, I should buy something for Sophie Sullivan. Galaxy Shopping Center. On my way to work, I passed by the Gulf store. Thought, why not just buy it from here? I'll surprise Sophie Sullivan this afternoon. I went straight to the 4th floor. Don't know how many girls asked for my number there. I said no. Felt a bit annoyed inside. Damn it. Left in such a hurry. Forgot to wear my mask. Can't hide this incredibly handsome face. I headed straight to the grocery store. Almost everyone here was rich except me. Meeting rich women, I was feeling scared. As soon as the shopping was done, I quickly told the salesgirl my name and asked her to get ready for me quickly. The salesgirl didn't hesitate at all. You should know that my necklace is worth up to 2.88 million. Even if someone sells their whole life, they wouldn't have that much money. While I was waiting to pick up my stuff, a middle-aged man showed up. He got straight to the point and said he wanted to buy this necklace. Money wasn't a problem for him. He introduced himself as Thomas Zone. That name sounded familiar to me. I think I've heard it somewhere before. After realizing the cost of losing, I just couldn't stop myself. Avoiding greed was really tough. But then I started thinking, if I sell Thomas Sullivan, what am I going to give Sophie Sullivan? My wife deserves something too. So, I made up an excuse that I was just buying something for a friend. That's why Thomas Sullivan didn't bother me anymore. Alright, I won't bother you now. Hey brother Jake, next time you're at Galaxy Plaza, just show my business card. You'll get a discount. I wasn't shy either. I grabbed the business card right away. Just then, the salesgirl carefully. I took out the box of packed jewelry. If there's nothing else, I'm going. After that, I went back to the department and swiped in. Went inside. Then I headed straight to the CEO's office on the top floor. As soon as I walked in, I saw Sophie Sullivan's rosy face staring out the window. I wonder what mischievous thoughts were running through her mind. I immediately went up to her, leaned my head close, and breathed in her scent. Wife, I miss you so much during these few hours apart. The moment Sophie Sullivan looked at me, She got flustered again. Her eyes were hiding something. Her mind was tangled with thoughts. Your hair's a bit messy. Should I help you fix it? Or just leave it like this? Would that be too personal? Yeah, I am her girlfriend, after all. Finally, Sophie Sullivan gently reached out her right hand. Her left hand was clenched in a fist, but she helped me tidy my hair properly. Then, oddly, she pulled her hand back. Did you eat enough for lunch? Yeah, I ate enough. Wife, I'm telling you. Down here. I've got this awesome beef noodle joint. Once you're free, I'll take you there. Sophie Sullivan paused for a moment. As the CEO of the company, she never gets a day off. She's almost always swamped at work. That's why she quietly started making plans in her head. Cancel everything for tomorrow. No, we have to go tonight. While Sophie Sullivan was still figuring things out, I thought maybe we should call off the afternoon plans. I slowly pulled out the necklace box from my pocket. As I got ready to put it around Sophie Sullivan's neck, it was in my hand. Seeing the necklace, Sophie Sullivan's eyes lit up with surprise. She froze. Sophie knew a bit about the Grove brand. The unbelievably gorgeous gem was shining beautifully. At that moment, a strange feeling washed over her. A weird sensation rose in her heart. It felt like she had been chosen for sure. How much Jake Thompson must love me to be willing to spend money on this gift. Then Sophie closed her beautiful eyes. Her face turned red. She gently lowered her head, waiting for me to put the necklace on her. She was about to start, but just then the phone rang. Hello, oh God, is he going through it again? Still daring to cause trouble. I'm on my way. After hanging up, I put the phone back in the box. Feeling a bit helpless, I said, Wife, I've got some work. I need to leave. Sophie Sullivan looked a little disappointed. Nodding, she said, You go ahead. Don't skip your important work. At that moment, I could clearly see anger flashing in her eyes. Let's see who the blind fool is that dares to ruin this good thing with her. These were the old days. Hearing it felt like this was some kind of business deal. She was really upset and angry. Deep down, she wished I would personally hand her the defeat. The conversation got cut off midway. Secretary John came in. Her cold voice was heard. A few seconds later, Emily John pushed the door open and stepped inside. Go find out if the tech department is forcing employees to work overtime. I want a full report within half an hour. Emily John glared at Sophie Sullivan, who was boiling with anger. Her heart skipped a beat and she started trembling. It's the tech department, right, CO Sophie? I know about this. The department head, William, is forcing employees to work overtime during lunch, so they don't get the night off. First, hand it over to them. SK Essence needs to submit the design. Jack Thompson and Mike Wolf didn't work overtime. That's why William Harris is losing his mind now. Emily Jong also tried to drag me and Little Wolf down without thinking. After all, I was the one who brought those two together. Sophie Sullivan heard this. Her eyes went ice cold. Are you crazy? Go to the tech department now. Tell William Harris to meet me. Seeing this, Emily Jong got seriously scared. She didn't even have the courage to think anymore and quickly followed the orders. In the tech department. On one side, Little Wolf was glaring at William Harris. He said arrogantly, William Harris, Jake's proposal is all written here. What else do you have to say? William Harris took the documents. Without even looking, he replied coldly, There's nothing special in this proposal. Write another one. If you don't write it, you can't just leave the job. Just then, I came in. As soon as I reached the office, I heard that annoying voice. It was clearly meant to piss me off. I immediately got angry. I shot William Harris an angry look. Damn it, I thought. This is too much already. If it weren't for that, I'd still be getting cozy with my wife. I was about to give her a piece of my mind when Secretary Jong walked in. Department head William, CEO Sophie is calling you. The moment William heard CEO Sophie's name, his eyes lit up. Oh God, CEO Sophie is calling me. It must be for praise, a promotion, or a raise. I'm coming right now. Before leaving, she shot me an angry glare. Wait, I'll be back to deal with you. I just shrugged helplessly. All right then, we'll see who deals with whom. Tom stood at the door of CEO William Harris's office. He took a deep breath. His mind was nervous but excited. Getting employees to work for free and still stay obedient, that's William Harris's talent. The CEO Sophie is going to promote me soon, he thought. And with that excitement, he knocked loudly on the door. See you, Sophie. It's me, Little Harris. William Harris sneaked into the room. Sophie Sullivan gave him a cold look. William's throat went dry and his whole body was shaking. CEO Sophie, here are the 3 complete design proposals. Please review them. Sophie Sullivan heard it and stopped. Then she looked up and saw William Harris staring right at her with those beautiful eyes. William Harris noticed and started trembling. CEO Sophie was shocked. This was the perfect chance to show off. She immediately scratched her head and let out an awkward laugh. CEO Sophie said, "I announced it in the department right after lunch." Everyone stopped eating, drinking, and resting, and got to work, but Sophie Sullivan didn't even bother to listen. Clearly admitting her mistake, she bluntly asked, "So, is this some kind of coercion? Overtime? Then tell me why you're forcing the employees to work extra hours." William Harris laughed weirdly again. CEO Sophie, "I remember you once said that working more helps employees improve their skills. That's a good thing." Sophie Sullivan heard this and felt like she was on fire. This jerk is even accusing me now. Oh, it's like asking for death. At first, she used to ignore overtime because, after all, it benefits the company. But now he's using the same excuse to bother me. She was just about to put on the garland when he stopped her halfway. Thinking this, Sophie Sullivan got even angrier. She snapped, "I clearly said that as senior management, we can't force employees to do overtime without a valid reason. They need time and opportunities to grow and take initiative on their own. Doesn't Department Head William remember? Did I say that or not?" William Harris felt like crying. He even dared to swear that CEO Sophie had indeed said it before. But now Sophie Sullivan is the CEO. Whether she said it or not, that's her right. How dare you argue with her? "Yes, CEO Sophie, I remember her well." Seeing her admit it, Sophie slammed her hand hard on the table. Her icy cold gaze fixed on William Harris. "You remember it so clearly, yet you still make people work overtime. If you make them work too much, write me a 3,000-word self-critique and hand it to the disciplinary committee at the end of the year." Sweat instantly formed on William Harris's forehead. He answered shakily, "I understand, CEO Sophie. I went and wrote it down." Immediately do some self-criticism. Then he ran straight out of the CEO's office like he'd just escaped death, gasping for breath. "If you want to blame someone, find any excuse. I don't know what I did wrong for CEO Sophie to treat me like that." William Harris was really confused. After a while, he went back to the tech department and told everyone about the design. "I'm saying again, anyone can do it. No need to submit it on time." Talking like this, William Harris left disappointed and went back to his office. Everyone in the department was stunned. Had William Harris's personality completely changed? I just smirked a little. No need to overthink. It was clear that little Sullivan had taught him a lesson. I quickly pulled out my phone and opened the Penguin app. Sent a message to that gorgeous girl. "Baby, wait for me at the office after work. Got something to discuss." Sophie Sullivan replied almost instantly, "Got it." I put my phone down and smiled softly. Plans to meet after work were set. Time to put a ring on little Sullivan. Task assigned by the system. Finish it up. Meanwhile, someone was whispering into William Harris's ear in his office. No one knew where the rumor started. They were saying I'm dating CEO Sophie's cousin, that after I walked into CEO Sophie's office, I'm no longer single. But why can't that person be Sophie Sullivan herself? When William Harris heard this rumor, he was fully alert. He immediately put down the documents. "Oh God, is it almost time to get off work?" I got up and stretched, looking for my lovely ice beauty. As soon as I stepped out of the elevator, I saw William Harris coming out of the CEO's office. "Wow, Department Head William, that's the first time I've heard you say you have to work overtime later. It must be really tough," I joked. William heard a familiar voice and looked up. Immediately, a sycophantic smile appeared on his face. "Oh my God, young boss Jake, what are you saying?" "I'm just trying to set a good example for the company," he said with a grin, clearly being flattering. Seeing this, I was a bit stunned. What's gotten into William Harris? Does he know anything? I couldn't figure out what William Harris was up to. I ignored him, turned around, and walked into Sophie Sullivan's office. Seeing the scene, William Harris's heart started racing again. Without even knocking, the CEO barged right in like he owned the place, like he was Sophie's brother-in-law or something. Just walked in and saw Sophie Sullivan sitting with both hands supporting her chin. She was lying on the desk, doing who knows what. Lost in thought, I walked up to Sophie with a mischievous smile. "Where's the wife lost to?" Sophie Sullivan was still coming back to her senses. She came in, paused for a moment. Her face turned red. Then she opened the drawer and took out the limited edition golf necklace. A small smile tugged at the corners of my lips. I picked up the necklace, opened it, and teased her with it. Then, with a mischievous grin, she said, I was going to put this on you myself at lunch. Too bad those people interrupted us. It's not too late, though. Make up for it now. Hearing this, Sophie felt really happy inside. She gently pressed her lips together and quietly hummed in agreement. Come here. When I turned around, I saw that the necklace was really quite intricate. I mumbled something under my breath, then I put my hand on Sophie Sullivan's shoulder. The next moment, her whole body shivered a little. It was the first time a man had touched her shoulders like that. Wow, this necklace really does seem made for my wife. I raised my eyebrows and smiled. Sophie noticed my eyes fixed on her fair neck. Sullivan blushed even more. Her heart was pounding. She lowered her head and softly said, "Thank you, husband." Seeing this shy beauty standing in front of me, I felt like doing something else. But I was afraid to rush things. I was also scared of losing control of myself. I had to step back for a moment. All right, I'll head out first. See you tomorrow, love. I was about to leave when suddenly Sophie Sullivan spoke up. Jake Thompson, are you really leaving? Seriously, that doesn't happen in Korean dramas. You don't just walk out like that. Her face flushed red again the next moment, and shyly she asked, Jake Thompson, are you in a hurry to get home? Is something wrong? I caught the real meaning behind her question. I took a deep breath and then mischievously raised my eyebrows. She got up. Hey wife, is something wrong? Why does your face look so suspicious? I can't take it anymore. Little Sullivan, do you want me to do something with you? I thought and guessed. Sophie Sullivan immediately stood up. It's just a small thing, nothing more. Then, softly, she opened her arms for my time again. She hugged me and shyly buried her head in my chest. She just wanted a hug. Actually, Sophie Sullivan was thinking about this. Can't kiss. After all, we're each other's. We've only known each other for a day. Doing anything outside the boundary is even harder. So, in the end, a hug seemed like the best option. Sophie Sullivan felt a strange kind of comfort as she caught a faint scent on my body. All right, you can go now, my little lover. I scratched my head and took a deep breath. Wife, you've been thinking all along just to take a little advantage of me for such a long time. Hearing that, Sophie Sullivan was taken aback. Taking advantage should be mutual. Are you saying that hugging you doesn't make you happy? Okay. So, I was really leaving. But as soon as I stepped out of the office, I started feeling regret. That hug was way too short. I barely felt anything. I was shocked the moment I left the office. It was the first day of our date, and Sophie Sullivan, with her icy cold beauty, was the one who actually made the first move to hug me. My charm is seriously amazing. Then, a soft little beep came from the system. Side mission accomplished. I put a ring on my girlfriend's finger. 1,000 bond points added. Recorded a hug with Shyam. 1,000 bond points added. I was totally floored. The record of hugging Shyam. What does it even mean to break a record? Has this system unlocked some new function or something? Damn it. I've got to get home and research this fast. An hour later, Sophie Sullivan also arrived at her villa. As she opened the door, her face was glowing with indescribable joy. I thought there was a thief breaking in. Turns out, the little princess of mom and dad had come back home. That hardly ever happens. Finally, she decided to drop everything and come home to see her parents. A middle-aged man quickly rushed into the hall on the first floor, his face full of excitement. He was full and smiling. Wow, that's great. Come here and have a look. Dad has brought you a little gift today. Sophie Sullivan was a bit surprised. Then Thomas Sullivan followed her into the study room. Hey Sullivan, open this and see. Sophie took the small box from Thomas. Sullivan opened her hand to look inside. Oh wow, this is Gro's necklace. What a coincidence. Just then, Thomas Sullivan noticed that their daughter was already wearing a necklace. Actually, he wanted to use the necklace as an excuse to advise his daughter to find a boyfriend. Looks like their plan got found out. Sophie Sullivan glanced at her dad and calmly said, "A friend gave it to me. It's from Gro too. A boyfriend is just a friend, right? Nothing wrong with that. You can give it to mom and dad." With that, she turned and walked away. Study. Seeing this, Thomas Sullivan was taken aback. Has his daughter really fallen in love? He took a deep breath, then rushed to the kitchen. Honey, come here. I've got big news. After a lot of guessing, Thomas managed to warn his wife as well. How will dinner go later? I asked a bit softly. Merrily gently suggested. Thomas Sullivan heard this and gave a thumbs up in approval. Meanwhile, after reaching Garden Residence Apartments, I spent a whole half hour figuring out the system's hug check-in function. Turns out, If you hug your soulmate morning, noon, and night, you get extra binding points. Damn it, isn't this basically forcing me to date properly? Then I suddenly remembered I still had 2,000 binding points left. So I immediately opened the lottery. Ding. Lottery for the host, congratulations. The host just got 100,000 soft currency. Congrats. The host also unlocked the advanced piano master skill. Seeing the reward, my smile faded. What's the use of this worthless piano? The real skill is in crafting all these collectible items. I stopped thinking about it. Took out my phone and opened the Penguin app. Sent Sophie Sullivan a message. Have you eaten yet? Just then, a notification popped up. Ding. The host checked in once for evening care. Binding points plus 500. I smiled a little. 500 points for just one sentence. Morning, afternoon, and combined total of 10,500 points for the night. Also, good morning, afternoon, and evening wishes. Overall, 4,500 points. Whenever you get a chance, do some side missions. Earn 10,000 points in 2 days. Make some more pictures. Lose. Swapping the villa wouldn't be a bad idea. Meanwhile, at Half Moon Lake Villa, Thomas Sullivan was sitting at the dining table, signaling to Marley. Marley shot him a glare. I'm just eating. What's the rush? Rushing will spoil the taste. Come on, Sullivan. Try this leg piece, crispy on the outside, tender on the inside. Sophie Sullivan said. He nodded lightly. Just then, a strange sound came from his phone. Thomas Sullivan and Marilyn glanced at each other. Something's definitely off. It was definitely a message from the boyfriend. They saw Sophie Sullivan put down her chopsticks and pick up her phone. That sound was a special tone she had set for me, signaling that I had messaged her. Seeing the message, the corners of her lips curled up slightly. She couldn't hold back the flood of emotions inside her. Suddenly getting this kind of love in just one day was really intoxicating. Thinking about tonight's hug, Sophie Sullivan's face turned red. She quickly replied to the message. Then she sneaked a glance upward and caught Thomas Sullivan's eyes. Marily's gaze was like a tiger stalking its prey. Seeing that, a lot of questions popped up in Sophie's mind, and she looked a bit nervous. She hurriedly explained, my friend wasn't feeling well. It's nothing. Saying that, she flipped her phone face down on the table, as if nothing had happened. Then she picked up a chopstick and grabbed another piece of chicken leg. Mom, this chicken leg piece is really tasty. Thomas Sullivan and Marley were both stunned. Their daughter just smiled and Dharma left. It was the first time Sophie Sullivan was eating and actually replying to someone's message. And the best part, she explained everything in detail. All these weird things just prove one thing. Thomas Sullivan and Marley were looking at each other, their eyes clearly shining with happiness. Their daughter finally got a boyfriend. Meanwhile, at Garden Residence Apartments, I glanced at Sophie Sullivan's reply. The corners of her lips curled up slightly. I'm eating. My parents are here too. Talk later. Yeah. Thinking about my future in-laws made me feel really uneasy. My head started hurting again. I took a deep breath, but I kept thinking my mom was sick. Having a mother-in-law like that would be really tough for little Sullivan. I replied with a message. I'm going to play a game. Oh, here's the design I made. William Harris didn't submit it to me today. Help me check it out when you're free. Meanwhile, Sophie Sullivan went to her bedroom after dinner. Seeing my message, she went online on Penguin.
Dhinchak, dhinchak, party hard. Everybody put your hands up now.